Good morning, everybody. Welcome to yoga. A little different scene today. I'm actually in my home office instead of my studio. It's so cold today in Colorado, and my studio is not heated. So it requires some space heaters to get it to room temperature, at least comfortable temperature. And so it was perfect because this is a beautiful lesson in taking something that we're used to doing, having it be different, and being okay with that. So I know that this is such a bizarre time of our lives right now, and the holidays are coming, and there's things that we do as a tradition, and I love tradition, and I think rituals and tradition are really important. But when there's something going on in the world that prevents those traditions from happening, it can bring about some sadness and feelings of emptiness. And so for me, what I've chosen to do this year is I have decided that rather than try to do the same thing and expect the same result, I'm going to change it up. And so I realized that the tradition that my family has had cannot be the same this year. It's just not going to be the same. And so rather than try to create that same experience, I know I'll be disappointed. So what I decided to do this year is rather than have the traditional holiday meal, kids come over, grandkids, yada, yada, I'm going to totally change it up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have what I'm calling a twinkle and cookie party. And so each son of mine is going to be invited for an afternoon of Christmas cookies and presents. And so I'm pulling in the tradition of our childhood or their childhood, the things that they loved as children that will bring about memories for them. And it's something new, and it's nothing I've ever done before with my kids. So it's going to not be that disappointment of the holiday meal and the Christmas Eve. That's not going to happen this year. So I decided it's okay, like change it up. So when yesterday I came out to record yoga to my studio because it was warmer, and it just didn't go. It just didn't go. And I tried 3 times, and usually I don't try, I just speak and it comes, and I tried and it didn't go well. So I bagged it and knew that today I was going to record, and today it's freezing cold. I think it's like 5 degrees. And so why would I want to go through the same experience and expect the same result? So I could go out to the studio and I could teach for an hour, but I would freeze, and the class probably wouldn't be that great. And so again, I cannot expect the same exact result doing the same thing, knowing that it's going to be different. It's going to be different. I'm going to freeze out there. So I came up here into my cozy little office, and it's good. It's good. So that's what I want you to chew on. But we're in the month of December now, and this is a very worn and fragile, beautiful yoga book that I refer to a lot. And if you've been practicing with me a while, you know I refer to it a lot. It's a beautiful book that has taught me so much, and I feel like it's the book I should have written. And so we're in the month of compassion. I love the idea of compassion. I love the idea of self-compassion. So I hope that you will take advantage of my essential yoga class that was in my newsletter or on my website to, at some point this month, because it is powerful. And what I think happens is that we as service-minded human beings, we pour out compassion, and it's rare that we feel that same way for ourselves. And so there's layers to compassion that we have, and we have the compassion for others, we have the compassion for ourselves, and we have the compassion that's just this sort of vague feeling like, yeah, we have it. But there is a term in yoga called Karuna, and it is compassion with action. And that's the difference. So we can feel compassion for our neighbors and for our friends and for our family, but are we taking action on that feeling? Are we taking action on our compassion? And so what I want to invite into this entire month is a couple things. One thing I want to invite in is the idea that we're headed into light again, and light is service. Light is showing up to the best of your ability. And if you listen to the contemplation meditation, this series, you're going to note that we talk about and we look at how the leaves have fallen from the tree, our own leaves of fear and judgment and rejection and disappointment and all the things that we let go of, even joyful things too. They're settled down into the earth now, and now they start to really transform us and become nutrients for our growth that's coming. And so as we look at this month, I want you to do two things. I want you to be still and access that place within you that is compassion, that is light. And then I want you to put that into action for yourself and for others. And it can be as simple as shoveling the snow of your neighbors. It's holding a door open, it's smiling, it's picking up the phone and calling somebody and asking how they are. It's an action that speaks from your light and from your heart. And then I want you to be still enough this month, balancing action with introspection and being able to look within and say, here's what I really learned this year, and here's how it's going to transform me. And we take the matter of our year, the things that we have gone through, the things we've learned, the things that have been painful, the things that have been easy, different, beautiful, and we rest our feet on those things. We soak in like a tree the wisdom that they offer, and then we go out and we do something with it. So we're going to talk about that this month. Compassion with action, light coupled with that dark, dormant inward reflection. So we're going to start in child's pose today. That was a long introduction. Thanks for hanging out with me. All right, so go ahead and find yourself in child's pose. And what that looks like, if you're not sure, is I like to come to all fours first. My fingers are spread wide, my palms really connect to my mat, and then I sink my hips back. I like to have my big toes come to touch and my knees open, and then my heart can sort of just melt down into my mat. I like that. You might feel safer and more comforted with a tiny little ball, knees together, belly onto the thighs. That's a beautiful child's pose too. And remember, this is your practice. I'm going to turn my camera off, and I want you to just listen to the sound of my voice and listen more to your own wisdom and to what your body is speaking as we move through this beautiful practice of light, of compassion, of don't going dormant, letting things that we learn do the work. So go ahead and find yourself in that position, and I'll see you at the end. All right, my beautiful friends, thanks for hanging with me and listening to me speak passionately about what I want to offer you this month. What I've come to know and to live is that when we discover that true self, we can beautifully be of service to others. When we realize that the truest self, the capital T truth, and we've talked about this, the capital T is that which resides within you. It is that space within you that is light, that is good, that is beautiful, that is magnificent. And when we give from that place, not from our pocketbook, but when we give from that place, we, in turn, find true joy. And so Karuna is compassion with action. Its full benefits to you and the object of your compassionate action can be achieved with the smallest of gestures. It's already inside you. And in giving your help, you will in turn be the true beneficiary of what you will gain will be far greater than what you give. The heart of service. So compassion in action. Start to rise up to all fours. Nice. Spread your fingers wide. Let's really connect to the earth. And I want you to keep your eyes closed here just for a moment or two. And just feel your body in this shape that has risen up from child's pose. And I want you just to reflect for a moment on October and how we were diligent and deliberate in how we chose to let go of things that no longer served us. And as a symbol, we use the leaf. Now, those leaves have gone from gold and yellow and beautiful colors to this brown, decayed matter on the soil of our earth. Go ahead and turn your head and look over your right shoulder. So if we use that analogy for ourselves, we have this stuff that is beneath us that we have chosen to let go. Come back to neutral. You're going to turn your head over to the left and really feel that spaciousness through the side body. Go ahead and do that one more time, each side, just starting to wake up. And so the nutrients of the matter, of the lessons, of the things we let go of, they seep into our being if we choose. Come back to center. Go ahead and tuck your toes. And then find yourself in that shape known as down dog, which is that upside down V shape. And if you have a tendency to feel pressure in your wrists at all, go ahead and bend your knees a little bit. And then really imagine the tailbone going up towards the wall and the ceiling where it connects behind you, way up there. And then push your heart towards your thighs. Just let your head dangle. Sometimes we think we need to be looking forward, or I like to actually just let my head dangle and maybe even move it side to side, circle it, nod yes, nod no, but always finish with a yes. And so this has been a hard year. And so all of the matter in which the year has brought us is beneath us. And it is up to us to choose to take that wisdom, the nutrients that it is, and be willing to allow it to ruminate, to settle in, and to eventually help us to grow in the spring. Take your eyes forward. Beautiful. And now let your feet follow your eyes all the way to the very top. And when you get to the very top, take your feet as wide as your mat. And I want you to begin to sway side to side, knees are bent. Just find a little bit of good morning or good afternoon or good evening movement. That's the beauty of these videos and the format in which they come to you, is that you can watch them and listen to them when it feels good for you. 2 more. Perfect. Now go ahead and slide your hands to your shins and just start to tilt your chin forward. You can keep your eyes closed here for a moment. Notice the shape. It's the shape of a number 7 or an upside down L. The spine is parallel to the floor. Knees are starting to get straighter. And then just take a breath in. And when you exhale, bend your knees and let go. Touch the floor, touch the toes, tuck your chin. Feel that. Try that again. Come up halfway, find spaciousness. And then fold. Beautiful. Let's try it one more time. Come up halfway. And then fold, fold, fold. So perfect. As slow as you can, begin to rebuild your spine. You'll come up to stand. We haven't been in this position yet. And so once we get there, get settled in, maybe even lift up your toes. Lay your toes back onto the mat. Close your eyes if they're not already closed and feel yourself in your presence. Sometimes it can be startling to realize just how much space you take up in the world in your brightness. It is pretty powerful. Go ahead and reach your arms up high, and you'll grab your left wrist. Go ahead and take your arm and pull it just a little bit more up towards the ceiling, creating a lot of length through the left side body. Take a breath in and then pull it over your head. We're going to stay here. We're just going to slowly open up the body here. And you'll come back up to center. Grab your right wrist and pull up and over. Perfect. Come back up to center and then fold over your legs. Rise up halfway. Fold again. Find your breath here. Inhale, roll up slow as you can. Get to the very top. Breathe out big. Slide your arms up high. Take a breath in. Grab your left wrist, and when you exhale, pull it to the right. Notice how your breath does the work here. Come back to center. Grab your right wrist and pull. Beautiful. Recreate length. Inhale, separate your hands and fold over your legs. Go ahead and follow the rhythm of your own breath. This is a half sun salutation. This is a beautiful way to wake up. Remember, you're just going to listen. Listen to the language your own body speaks. It's going to know when to lift and when to breathe and when to let go and when to pull and when to bend. Just give yourself permission to get in touch with yourself. Remember, you can always follow along on some of your favorite yoga music through Spotify. I have some wonderful playlists. So if you're a person that needs that motivation of music, just take a moment and log into Spotify and find me, and you'll find some of those beautiful playlists that I've created over the years. Take 2 more rounds here and just feel yourself starting to connect. In yoga, we call this movement and meditation, or vinyasa, where we link our breath with our movements, and it creates this space inside of us. Can you imagine for a moment the thought of filling the world with light, so that wherever you go today, through thoughts, through physical space, somewhere along the way, you shine a light into someone's world, into someone's darkness? Isn't that what we're here to do? The next time you are in a forward fold, I want you to stay there. Beautiful. Now separate your feet just a little bit, maybe towards the edges of your mat, and just start to bend a little bit over to the right. Walk your hands over, maybe to even the outside of your right foot. Just get that twist and that bend here. Beautiful. Come back to center. Turn to the left. Nice. Come back to center. Go ahead and slide up halfway. We're going to create that space. And then you're going to plant both hands on the mat and step both feet back on the mat. We're just going to be here for a moment in a push-up position. Not a big deal. Won't be here long, but just start to feel again those 4 points connected to the mat. This time the toes rather than the knees in that tabletop position. And now if you prefer to, go ahead and drop your knees, and we'll take a breath here. When you exhale, as slow as you can, not collapsing, just lay your body all the way on the ground. Tuck your chin and put your forehead on your mat. Just pause for a moment. Feel your body breathing against the earth. I know that you're on a mat and you're probably on a wood floor or a tile floor or a carpeting floor. But underneath your home is that matter, the earth in which we draw in nutrients. We watch nature do it. And what's really beneficial for our trees and for our gardens is to leave the leaves on there and let the transformation occur. Let the snow decompose that which it let go of so that it can recycle and renew. And if you think about it, our breath is a symbol of that renewal, and the tree. And so as we breathe in oxygen, we breathe out carbon dioxide, and we empty the body of what it doesn't need. The tree, on the other hand, breathes in our carbon dioxide, and it breathes out oxygen. How linked are we? Next time you inhale, pull your belly along the mat, lift your heart. Nice, lift your nose, and now lower your head again. Try that one more time. It's just a baby cobra. The heart comes up. Don't straighten your arms, just lift a little bit. Nice. Bring your forehead back down. We're going to come into Sphinx pose, which is one of my favorites. So walk your elbows forward just a little bit, like forward underneath your shoulders, and your forearms are going to be pressed into the floor. Palms are spread wide. And as you do that, the heart naturally has risen. And this is different than a cobra. The cobra is where our elbows are tucked back into our side body, and we're barely using our hands to rise the chest. Sphinx pose, we actually walk our arms out in front a little bit. And I want you to feel as though the sensation is you're dragging your belly along your mat, and you're pushing your heart forward. And as you do that, the shoulder blades squeeze together at the back, and the eyes are forward, softly closed, and you're breathing. This beautiful chest expansion. We're going to be here about 5 breaths. So you can feel the body's response. The hips are down, belly is expanding. This beautiful posture of poise. Nice. Take one more breath cycle. And then you'll lower your forehead to the mat, tuck your pretty little toes, and lift your hips up and back. I got a message last week from one of you that gets a chuckle when I say pretty little toes. So we're in down dog. We're going to bring our right leg up to the sky. Nice. Take a breath in. And then bring your right foot through your hands, connect it to the ground. Keep your back foot completely plugged in. We're going to rise up to what we call warrior two. So the arms go lengthwise along the mat. The chest and the belly actually turn towards that long left side. And you're looking over your right hand. This is a posture of determination, of strength, of action. And now I want you to raise your right palm. Just flip your right palm. And this is so symbolic in so many ways. Your right knee is bent a lot. Eyes are probably starting to open. And I want you to fix your gaze on your right hand. Our right hand is where we tend to take action. It's our energy side of going forth and doing. And so it's where we give. And so with your right hand, I want you to imagine in your hand, you hold a sweet gift of compassion. And your intention for the day or the week or the month is to take that compassion and you're going to be giving it in action. A phone call, a note, holding the door, helping an elderly person get groceries. Truly going beyond just feeling the compassion. Beautiful. Fix your heart into that intention. Take your right hand and bring it high to the sky. Beautiful. Peaceful warrior. That's where we give it away. And now windmill your arms all the way back down to the mat. Frame your right foot. And as you do that, your right foot's going to step back to the push-up. It can be knees or toes, you pick. You'll take a breath in and you'll lower again all the way down, not collapsing, not dumping, just lowering. And then the toes will untuck. Elbows will squeeze back, and you'll find that baby cobra as the heart rises, you breathe. And then the forehead comes down to the mat. You tuck your toes and you rise back to down dog and stay. First time through this flow, we're going to go really slow. I want you to really get in touch with the feeling and the sensation of each posture. Your left leg is going to rise. And then you'll bring your left foot forward. Plant both feet. Make sure the right foot is connected. Rise up. Belly will turn towards the long right edge of your mat. Arms are lengthwise, looking at your left hand. Go ahead and rotate the palm up. Nice. So our left side is our receptive side. It is where we receive. And because we are thinking about compassion this month, I want you to think about, how can I be compassionate to myself? How can I receive my own compassion? What action can I take today? And maybe it's showing up for this yoga class. What action can I take today for myself that says, I am loved, I am worth it, I am good? So receive some compassion. Fix your gaze into your left hand. Make an intention of what you will receive. What form of love will you give yourself? Maybe it's a healthy eating. Maybe it's a bubble bath. Maybe it's a walk in nature. Maybe it's time alone. Maybe you've picked up that beautiful hobby of crocheting or knitting, and you're going to spend time doing that. That's something that feeds you. And now take your left arm up and over. So nice, peaceful warrior. We give it to ourselves. Take a breath and then windmill the arms all the way back to the mat. Frame your left foot, step the left foot back, knees or toes you pick. When you get there, you'll breathe and then you'll lower the body. Just a basic sun salute. Now lift your heart, beautiful. Hips go up and back and we down dog. We're gonna take this entire beautiful sequence from the very beginning into a meditation in motion that is geared around compassion and taking all that has been and turning it into light. Take your eyes up to the top of your mat. Your feet are going to follow. Take as many steps as you need to. You'll get there when you get there. And when you're in the forward fold, take a moment just to be. And now slide your hands halfway up. A forward fold. And let's get powerful here. Reach and rise. Take a big breath in, all the way up. Powerful. Take that side bend, grabbing the left wrist, and breathe out. You'll come back up to center and you'll take a breath in. You'll grab your right wrist and pull over. So nice. Come back to center. And then you'll forward fold. Both hands will find the mat. You'll step both feet back. You'll breathe. Go ahead and drop to the knees if you prefer and lower the body all the way to the mat. Feel the body connect. When you inhale, lift your heart, lift your nose, and then sweep back to downward facing dog. We're going to take a couple breaths here just to gather up your breath, your intention. Beautiful. When you're ready, the right leg will lift, and then you will step it forward on your exhale. On your inhale, you'll rise up to warrior two. And when you exhale, sink and flip your right palm. Just flip the palm, that's it. When you inhale, now bring your right hand high to the sky, open over. And when you exhale, windmill back to the mat. Step your right foot back, you'll be in the push-up. Lower the body. When you're ready, the heart will rise, you'll breathe. And then you'll come back to downward dog and you'll take a couple breaths here. We're going to come into a more traditional flow today, just to kind of stir up and ruminate those ideas that we've talked about and let them kind of come into your meditation in motion. Your left leg will lift, you'll breathe. You'll step it forward and breathe out. And you'll come up to warrior two on your inhale. Flip your left palm, just the palm, and exhale, sink a little lower. Inhale, reverse that warrior, bring the left hand up and over. And when you exhale, windmill back to the mat. Perfect. Step back on your inhale. Lower your body. Bring your heart up. Find down dog and breathe. Anytime throughout this you want to skip the push-up, feel free to skip it and just come back to down dog. I'm going to guide you through it one more time. And then I'm going to sort of let you go for a moment and let you go into the language your own body is speaking and listening to your own body and just kind of feeling what's showing up. So go ahead and take your eyes back to the top, feet will follow. And you'll be in a fold. Let me kind of reset here. We'll take a halfway lift, you'll breathe, and then you'll fold. Take a big breath in, reach and rise. Maybe even look up here. Grab your left hand, pull it up and over. You'll inhale back to center, grab your right wrist, pull it up and over. Feel that? Come back to center, and now fold. Feet will step back. Here's where you get to choose. You can either lower the body, or you can go right to downward facing dog, and you'll gather your breath for a couple breaths. When you're ready, the right leg will lift. You'll step it forward, slow. Use your belly here. Come up to warrior two. On your exhale, you settle and flip the palm, giving compassion. You will inhale and reverse that. Right arm goes high. Take it all the way back down to the mat. Right foot will step back. You'll either choose to lower the body and move through that beautiful cobra opening, or just settle into down dog. Both is perfect. When you're ready, the left leg will lift. You will step it forward on your exhale gracefully. Come up on your inhale. On your exhale, turn your left palm up. What will you give yourself today? Reverse your warrior, peacefulness. Come back to the mat. Left foot steps back. Lower your body or not. Settle into downward facing dog. You'll go back to the top of your mat. Gather up in the fold. And when you're ready, you'll begin again. Coming up halfway, sinking into the folds, reaching and rising. Take the side bend. And again. And then you'll fold. Feet will step back. Nice. From down dog, right leg will go high. You'll come into that warrior two where you give. And you'll reverse your warrior. And you'll make your way back to the mat, and you'll move through that sequence or not. You'll finish with the left leg, same thing. What will I give to myself today? Finding the peacefulness of that warrior. And when you make your way to that downward facing dog, I want you to come back to child's pose and settle. Breathe. Breathe. And go ahead. Rise back up to all fours. And find downward facing dog. We're going to come back to warrior two. So bring your right leg high. And then forward. And then wind up to warrior two. We're going to stay in warrior two just for a moment. We're going to come back to that intention. So flip your right palm, giving action, Karuna, compassion in action. And maybe something that you have learned this year can come forth through that action. It might be that you have realized the need for connection. And so you make a phone call to a friend today, or you offer to FaceTime or Zoom that friend. That's taking a lesson, turning it into action. And go ahead and straighten your right leg. Keep your legs just like they are. Right toes are forward, left toes are at an angle towards the left edge of your mat. And I want you to picture the inner thighs sort of squeezing towards each other. Keep your arms teed out just like they are. And then your right hand will remain up. And we're going to take the left hip And it's going to start to rotate up towards the ceiling as you reach your right hand forward, as if you're handing something to somebody across the room, but we're going to keep the shape the same. Everything's going to be spacious here. Keep reaching, and as you reach your right hand, your left hip rotates even more. This is all coming from the pelvis, and you're going to begin to feel this beautiful space on the left hip, the left IT band, the side of the left leg. And as you begin to reach, you notice that you naturally tick-tock over so that the right hand goes down towards the floor. It may not reach the floor. It may go to the inner calf or even the inner knee. Sometimes I like to just slide my hand to the inside of my right thigh. Another myth about this physical practice of yoga is nothing happens if our fingers touch the ground in triangle. In fact, we have better alignment when we don't touch the ground. And so we need to move away from this Western idea of perfection in the body, because it's already perfect and there is no perfect posture. You're not doing anything right or wrong in this practice. You're exploring sensation. I like to have my eyes down at my right toes. It just protects my neck here. Some people have the ability and enjoy looking up towards the ceiling. Really pick what feels good for you. It's totally up to you. This is triangle pose. Nice. Now, if your eyes are not at your right toes, go ahead and take them there. And then slowly begin to use your breath to pull your body up. Perfect. Turn your right toes towards the left, towards the long edge of your mat. And now turn your left toes to the back of your mat. Bend your left knee. Find warrior two back there. Flip your left palm. Here's where we receive. We receive that compassion in action. That doing something for ourselves is not selfish. It is actually beautiful because we cannot give from an empty vessel. And go ahead and begin to take the right hip now and rotate it up as you reach your left hand behind you. Keep reaching it towards the long or to the back edge of your mat. Just keep reaching back there as if you're serving something. Beautiful. And now tick your left hand down like a clock, tick tock. Right hand goes up towards the sky. And I like to have my eyes down. You can figure out where you like your eyes in this posture of spaciousness. I don't know what specifically the Sanskrit word for pity is. And pity is such a word that alludes to what a shame. And so we don't practice compassion from the space of pity. We don't take someone else's misfortune and feel, oh, what a shame. Rather, we turn it into, what can I do? How can I be of service? What can I give? How can I show up as light? That's what this is about today. Go ahead and take your eyes to your left toe if they're not there. On your next in-breath, pull your body up. Turn your left toes to the long edge of your mat and go ahead and lower your arms down by your side. I'm going to walk our feet just a little bit wider. Turn your toes out and your heels in. We're going to bend our knees here and come into that horse pose. It's often referred to as goddess or horse. So the knees are bent as if you're straddling a big thoroughbred. And I want you to bring your arms out with a softly bent elbow as if you are holding two large sacks of flour. And so it's not a full cactus arm where our elbows are in the same line as our shoulders, but rather the elbows are down just a little bit and the palms are actually turned towards our head just slightly, as if we're holding something right there in our biceps. I like to teach this posture sequence. Sort of made it up on my own, but in my adaptive classes, this is something we come to a lot. because we're typically sitting in a chair, but for our purpose today, we're going to be sitting on this horse. But I want you to imagine in each arm, you are holding volumes of compassion, so much compassion that you can actually feel the weightiness of it. It's beautiful. Now, here's what we're going to do with this. We're going to take our right arm and it's going to reach up and over and wrap around your head. So you just take that inner elbow crease and just place it on the top of your head-ish. So you're just cradling your head with your bent right arm. And then take your left arm forward as if you're serving something nice. Keep your left palm up, just give something. So you can feel this as a big side bend in the right side. But this extension of the left arm says, here we go. Let's take the compassion that I was just carrying and give it in peace. Come back to that compassion. Elbows are softly bent and we're holding a lot of it. And now left arm goes up and over the head as the right arm sweeps forward as if you're just holding something nice. Let's try that again. Come back to compassion. Elbows are bent. Reach the right arm up and over in peace and serve something with your left. Come back to compassion. Hold it. Nice. Left arm goes up and over as the right arm sweeps forward. Let's do it one more time. Compassion, soft elbows, legs might be feeling this. Right arm goes up and over as the left arm reaches forward. Come back to compassion. Nice. Left arm goes up and over as the right hand serves. Come back to holding your compassion. Keep your legs bent. I know that it's hard, but here's where we hunker in to one of the best lessons that Patanjali wrote about in the Yoga Sutras. He says in all of these principles and attitudes in which he wrote the Yoga Sutras, hundreds of these statements, if you will, not rules, because that sounds so dogmatic and so harsh, but just principles in which we live. Only 3 of them out of hundreds have anything to do with our physical asana practice. But the 3 that he does speak about, he says we must cultivate steadiness even in the midst of a challenge. And here's where it happens off the mat. In a challenge, are we steady? Are we consistent? Are we compassionate? Are we willing to learn? Are we doing everything we need to do to show up to the best of our ability? That's taking this practice and putting it into action. Take about 5 breaths here and see if you can steady the mind from the quivering of your legs, from the fatigue in which your body might be feeling. It's just 3 more breaths of this entire life. Find steadiness. Beautiful. Now, rise up, straighten your legs, lower your arms, close your eyes. Just be for a moment. Just be for a moment. Fantastic. Turn your toes forward. Take your arms out to a T. Palms are up, both of them. Take a breath in. From the hip crease, hinge forward and lower. And maybe the hands find the mat or they're close. If they're close, try bending your knees. Making that connection back to the earth with our hands is a beautiful, beautiful touch point. And if it's really far away, if the floor is just too far away, you can always have a chair nearby, maybe a pillow, some blocks, and you can bring the floor to you. And that's a beautiful way to experience it. Once you find yourself in this shape, tuck your chin and let the weight of your head just dangle. Let gravity start to pull some space into your spine. Go ahead and walk your hands over to the right. Maybe they touch the right shin, maybe the right ankle, the right foot. And then take your eyes and turn past your right shoulder. Really feel this beautiful twist. And then slowly release from that and walk your hands over to the left, finding the left shin, the left foot, and then eventually the eyes will go past the left shoulder. And then come back to center. Beautiful. We're going to turn our right toes to a diagonal. And we're going to walk our hands again towards the right foot just a little bit, but begin to bend your right knee as much as it will bend. Hopefully, the bum is going to lower down. The left leg will remain straight. Right knee is bent super tight. And you might notice that the left toes want to rise up, which is fine. And the left heel really digs into the mat. This is a beautiful stretch for the inner thigh of the left leg. But we're also finding a little opportunity to play with balance. So you can start to bring your hands off the mat if you'd like. Some people like to put them at the heart center. This beautiful, beautiful pose. It's called Skandasana. It's kind of a fun word. It's just a side stretch. Nice to come out of this. Put your hands back on the floor. Walk them to the center, rise up both hips. Yeah, feel that? We're back in the forward fold. Now turn your left toes to that same diagonal. Begin to walk your fingers over towards the left foot and bend deeply. Let your right leg get straight. Your toes are going to rotate up towards the ceiling, and you might play with balance, letting your hands come up to your heart center. The chair practice is within this series is about this mudra called Anjali, the heart mudra that means to offer. So you might check that out. Perfect. Bring your hands back to the floor. Bring them around to the center and rise up the hips back in a fold. We're going to pivot on our heels and bring our toes forward. Step your left foot forward to meet your right and you'll be in a forward fold. Go ahead and roll up slow. Come back to that place of stillness in mountain pose where we just recollect our breath. We come back to the idea of how can I use that which I've learned to be the best version of myself through this season of darkness. We're headed into the darkest 3 weeks of the year. And what happens on the solstice is we actually tilt back towards the sun and we emerge from our hibernation. We have weeks left to hibernate and to really look deep within ourselves of what have we learned, what lies beneath us that we've let go of, that we can transform into something powerful in the next year. And then how can I take all that I am and be the most compassionate in action person? The Dalai Lama says, if you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. Take your arms up towards the ceiling. Now let your eyes follow. Just look up. It's a slight back bend. And then imagine that the fingertips are reaching up and back, maybe just a couple inches, and feel how the heart rises here. The light, that space within you that shines so bright. And then go ahead and come back up. Beautiful. Take a breath and lower your body into a fold. Once you get into the fold, hug your knees in, bend, 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 squeeze tight, get into a tiny little ball at the top of your mat. And then lower your bum to the mat. And you might have to scoot back about halfway down your mat. Perfect. Straighten your legs out in front. Sit really tall, that L shape again. I like to wiggle my buns a little bit and get my sitting bones, move the flesh out of the way so that I have a deep connection. And then take your right knee and we're going to bend it. The foot's going to stay on the mat in the same line as your hip. So the knee is up, left leg is long. And I want you to bring your right hand behind you, almost like a little tripod stand. Your left arm is going to wrap around that bent right leg, almost as if you're squeezing it in towards your belly. So you're naturally going to turn. You can rotate here, but we're going to grow this twist really slow here. Take a big breath in and turn your belly to the right. Nice. Do you feel that? Take a breath in. Turn your heart to the right. Take a breath in. Let your eyes go to the right and we stay. You might close your eyes here. Twists are so wonderful, again, cleansing and kind of clearing up space. We won't be here too long. If you opt to practice the Compassion Essential Yoga this month, there's a lot of these twists. Come back to center. And now let your hip open with the right leg so the knee falls to the right. And then stick your right foot to the inner thigh of the left leg. Arms will go high up to the sky. Now hinge from the hip crease and lay over that straight left leg. Tuck your chin and just melt over it. Should feel nice. Breathe. And slowly begin to come on up and straighten your right leg. Left knee is going to come up towards the ceiling. The foot will be on the mat. Bring your left arm behind. Make that little tripod stand. Your right arm's going to wrap around the left leg. Squeeze it in tight. Take a breath in. And then turn to the left. And another breath in. And turn to the left. And now eventually the eyes go to the left. Go ahead and let the left knee fall towards the left. Left foot finds that right leg. Arms go high. Take a big breath in. And then fold over the right leg. Breathe. Start to peel the body up, straighten the left leg. Just be the observer of how good you feel. And then begin to lay your body on the mat. And when you get there, hug your knees in. Keep them tight to the chest as the arms tee out. Drop your knees over to the left. Turn your head to the right and close your eyes. Bring them back up to center. Drop them to the right. And then slowly begin to come back and melt all the way down to the mat. When you get there, take a big breath in and an extra big breath out. And let go of any tension in the jaw and in the eyes. Even the fingertips are soft and there's just no effort. This beautiful posture where we let go, where we allow every bit of work that we did to integrate into the body. And we be still. This is a posture of letting go. It's a posture of dormancy. It's inward. It's quiet. Just like those leaves that have fallen to the ground. They're still, waiting to be renewed into something magnificent in the coming months. The same holds true for us. Breathing, quiet. The idea of compassion with action, it doesn't have to be a huge, time-consuming gesture. It doesn't have to cost anything. Karuna and all of its full benefits to you and the object of your compassionate action can be achieved with small gestures. Remember the butterfly effect? One tiny little thing creates a ripple of goodness. So today, discover Karuna, compassion with action. It won't be hard to find at all. It's already within you, waiting for its chance to be given. And one of the greatest gifts we can give to ourselves is the same in which we would give to another. So in the coming weeks, allow yourself to be a little slower. Allow yourself to soak in the wisdom of the year, to allow everything that you have worked tirelessly to let go of, to transform you into something even better than you are. And as we move through this month, we'll be coming back to compassion. We'll be coming back to the idea of service and light, as well as reflecting upon the wisdom this year has brought. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you for spending time with me. As always, I'm incredibly grateful for the consistency and the love and the support that you give. I gratefully accept it. I'll talk to you really soon. Have a beautiful day.